Okay, what's up, everybody? We're back here, the Rich Eisen Show basketball podcast. I'm here with the guys, TJ and Adam. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Holler.
Yeah, another great episode coming your way. Let's get to the opening tip. Huge night last night, specifically a huge game in Memphis. I don't think we've ever been able to say that there was a huge game in Memphis, but Golden State came in. Klay is back. They took on Memphis, and the Grizzlies, guys, we just got to start there. We got to start with the Grizzlies because what they're doing right now, they won the game, 10th straight. Ja Morant is a legit MVP candidate. We talked about it last week, about how he's sneaking into the race, and I think he's fully in it now. Adam, what were your first thoughts watching the game last night? Because it was awesome.
Let me interrupt real quick
TJ,
before Adam
you
starts.
start. You
First
start.
of all, put some respect on the slaughterhouse in Memphis. You said it's the first time. No, you got to put some respect on the Marc Gasol, the Tony Allen,
Mike Conley. Come on,
the Mike Conley era, the Debo era. Like, come on, man.
Tony Allen. They had some good teams.
That's what I said. So we got to put some respect on the slaughterhouse back in the day.
Really, a significant regular season game that everyone was tuning into. Like, come on.
Yeah, man.
All due respect. I don't want to meet any of those guys in a dark alley, but like, bro.
I will say that Ja Morant is for sure the best player the Grizzlies have ever had. It's not even a question. Already.
Had.
Yeah, he's the best.
Ever already?
I mean, I guess Paul Gasol.
It's year 3. Marc Gasol was Defensive Player of the Year, right?
Yeah, he was.
Mike Conley signed a $35 billion extension with them?
They had Paul Gasol also, who's for sure a future Hall of Famer, but I still think Ja is that guy right now.
Ja's the best player the Grizzlies have ever had halfway through his 3rd year.
Yeah, Zach Randolph wants to have a word with you after the show,
That's
and believe me, you're on your own.
You don't want to piss off Zach Randolph.
You're on your own on that one.
I'm not jumping in with a Yeti bottle to defend you.
Nah, you're on your own on that one. Zach Randolph wants a word.
I'm just speaking the truth.
All right.
Well, you're speaking your truth, but go ahead.
All
Continue.
right. Yeah, that's right. Your truth and the truth, not the same. However, it was an awesome game in Memphis last night. Grizzlies came out. Ja was on fire. Ja had 15 of the first 22 points for Memphis. They had a huge lead. I think it got to 15, 17 at one point before Golden State came all the way back. Eventually took a lead before Memphis pulled away at the end. Impressions watching the game last night, Adam, because it was great.
Ja reminds me of Derrick Rose circa 2011. This guy has the total package. He's so fast. Can jump out the gym, has a jump shot now, and his change of pace is crazy. And the thing that also separates Ja is he's not just athletic, but his vision is incredible. He made 2 or 3 incredible alley-oop passes that it was just so smooth the way he played. And just watching him is just a joy right now. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah, it's so great. And I think how he looks also plays a part of it. You know, he's got his hair is flopping around. He's got it in the half ponytail. He's so thin. He kind of reminds me of how tall is Ja?
I think he's listed at 6'3", but I think he might be shorter though.
He's got an Iverson quality, TJ. Is that too much?
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much.
I'm just talking about in being the smallest, frailest guy out there, but doing the most explosive things. I guess that's what I mean when I say that.
Yeah, I mean, but Ja is definitely bigger than AI was, obviously.
Taller.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's hard for me to compare anyone. Talent. Iverson.
I know.
But Ja is doing his own thing because Iverson didn't have hops like Ja had. Ja is
right.
This guy could probably jump 60 inches off the ground. I wouldn't be surprised.
Can we talk about that block he had against the Lakers? Probably the play of the year, right? That 2-handed block.
Man, just to go on TJ's point about the athleticism,
athleticism's off the charts.
It's out of this world. I mean, just think about remember the dunk he had last year where he was coming in from the side and it was an alley-oop? And he caught it, cocked it back, and it seemed like he was moonwalking 6 feet above the ground.
The thing about Ja is he has a highlight film of missed dunks, which are better than maybe his made dunks. The dunks that he just barely misses, when he almost destroyed Kevin Love.
Was it Kevin Love? I was just
Kevin
trying
Love
to think
didn't
if it
deserve
was.
that, by the way, because Kevin Love's career was good enough, and he did a lot of things, NBA champion. He didn't need that on his resume. I'm kind of glad that Ja missed that because that's all we would have remembered Kevin Love for was that. I mean, Ja has missed some dunks that, had he flushed these dunks, he should have been arrested. There should have been police waiting for him at the tunnel to take him to jail because it was a murder. So,
I know we're talking about the game last night against the Warriors, but over the weekend against the Lakers, he had two of those plays. Yeah. He had the block, he had the chase down, got it with both hands, kind of like MJ style, and then he had the alley-oop, the same deal. It's like he's playing exciting basketball, and like, again, all due respect to the teams that we mentioned earlier, with Powell and Zebo and those guys, but like Memphis is must-see basketball TV right now. You're searching them out on League Pass, and you're hoping they pop up on a TNT night or an ESPN night because of this kid and what they're doing. That 10 straight wins. They're top 4 in the West. Like, no one thought that was possible coming into this season.
Yeah, really well-rounded effort last night. If you look at the stats, Memphis had 6 guys who scored in double digits. You had Tyus Jones, who had 17 points, 8 assists. Desmond Bane, who's really kind of established himself as a second star in Memphis. He didn't play that well last night. He was only 3 for 14, but he still had 11 points. You had Brandon Clark, who had 14. So just a well-rounded effort by Memphis. And the supporting cast of Ja is looking good right now in this 10-game winning streak.
Yeah, it kind of overshadowed the Warriors' kind of comeback last night. Steph got off to a super slow start, as did the whole team. I mean, they just weren't putting the ball in the basket. Steph finished with 27, 10, and 10 last night. It's like Steph had a triple-double, which obviously nobody's really talking about today. But
I don't think he scored till like the 5-minute mark in the second quarter. So it took him a while to get established.
He was 0 for everything, but
that's even more ridiculous that he ended up with 27.
Yeah, man. Exactly. I mean, they got it going. They outscored Memphis by 10 in the third quarter, 11 in the third quarter before making the game, and then they got kind of blown out there in the second half of the fourth quarter. But for Golden State specifically, the big news from over the weekend, we kind of teased it last week when we were talking about best NBA hangs. Klay Thompson is back for this team, and he's looked pretty good. TJ, what have you seen out of Klay that you've liked so far through 2 games?
I'm going to be honest with you. I've only caught Klay's highlights.
And that's totally fine, too, because there have been many.
But one of the things that stood out to me is, like, I don't know if you guys have ever done this. I once dislocated my kneecap years ago.
That sounds terrible.
As I'm looking into the camera now, my kneecap, which sits right here, was over here when it would happen. So one of the hardest things to do was just for your brain and your body to reconnect, and for your brain to let your leg go, all right, you can put weight on this. Like, I can remember standing at the top of stairs and almost being terrified to step down because you just don't know what's going to happen when you put weight on that. So for Klay to come off his injuries and then go in that dunk that he had against the Lakers, like, it seemed like that was early in the game, and he just went down and just flushed it. I think that says a lot. Like, he's comfortable. He's not hesitant. He's trusting his body, and that's not going to be good for the rest of the league.
I really think that dunk is going to give Klay a ton of confidence.
Yeah.
Because
in traffic.
Yeah, in traffic. He crossed over Jared Allen. It was an awesome play. Did you see the bench afterwards? They went crazy.
Yeah.
And I think the bench realized at that point, like, Klay is back.
Yeah, it took that. And it's something that, like I said, man, if you've never had any type of leg injury, it's something that you've got to get over.
Mentally.
And apparently Klay's not like us, so maybe he doesn't have those thoughts because
he
took it to the
tough
rack.
for me when I tore my ACL and I came back on the playground Saturday.
Playground streets. Of
How long did you sit before you got picked up at those playground games? Like 3 games, 4 games?
No, come on, TJ. I've got some skills.
And the thing too, it's like, it's one thing to be stand in the corner and shoot threes, or stand on the wing and catch and shoot, or maybe take a dribble or two and take a jump shot. It's another to have the confidence in your body, like you said, TJ, to cross a dude up, know that there's traffic, know that you're going to get hit, and rise up and throw it down.
And he went off the left leg, which is the one he tore his ACL with.
Right. Which he tore dunking in a playoff game. I was trying to think about this, too. When was the last time you guys took 2 years off from doing something and then returned to do that thing? You know what I mean? Like, oh, man.
I went bowling, actually, over this weekend.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Just even something stupid like that. Like, man, I haven't been bowling in like 2 years.
Well, if that's the case, then hanging out with people in social settings, because for the last 2 years, haven't really done that. But I can say that the first time I went out into the public after the lockdown and quarantine and COVID, it was a little weird, man. It was just like, oh, wow, there's people here. And, oh, how do I talk? Is this? I don't know what to do. Like, what do my hands do? Do I stick them in my pocket?
Even just like an activity, like hanging out with people or bowling, or like if you haven't golfed in a while, it's like, to just pick that up. I mean, I guess they say it's probably like riding a bike for someone like Klay Thompson, but I don't know.
But NBA action is just that's fantastic. A different. It is fantastic, and the speed of the game is you can't really replicate that from working out. So that's the toughest part. And Klay looks pretty good on defense in terms of moving his feet laterally. He didn't look like he was coming off injuries.
Yeah, I gotta say, like even when you go on vacation for like a week, or maybe like you go home for the holidays or something, and then you come back and you haven't driven a car in like 7 or 10 days. Driving a car is kind of weird.
Yeah, you're
after
actually
you take
on
some
point
time
about
off.
that. Yeah, yeah.
And so I just can only imagine like what Klay's been doing, not playing in an NBA game for so long, and to finally get back out there. I mean, it's got to feel amazing. Like you saw, just like you mentioned, Adam, his teammates' reaction to just throwing down a dunk off the belly. They went nuts for him. And it also shows you how universally liked Klay is and how important he is to this team going forward. I mean, it's just nice. I mean, even though they lost last night, I still think the Warriors are one of the top teams in the NBA.
For sure. When you have that added depth, now you have Jordan Poole coming off the bench as the sixth man. Once you get Wiseman back, this team is primed for a title run.
Well, and if that's the case, then we got to, as they say, put some respect on the name of the Phoenix Suns then.
Yeah,
because
no
I mean,
doubt.
they're 31-9. I think a lot of people thought that what happened last year was kind of like it was a nice run. It was like a one and done. It doesn't look like it's a one and done for the Phoenix Suns right now. They are just continuing what they started in the bubble, essentially.
Yeah, because they were undefeated in the bubble.
Undefeated in the bubble, didn't make the playoffs, but they went 8-0. But you kind of looked at that team and went, oh, Devin Booker, he's for real. And this team's for real. And then, when they added Chris Paul, of course, that changed everything. And, and you've got, the big man, DeAndre Ayton, he's still waiting on a contract. So I'm sure that's, fueling him. But he didn't really have a great, he had 16 and 9 last night. So that's
let's stick on Phoenix for a second, because is it possible for a team with the best record in the NBA to be flying under the radar? Because it seems like we spend so much time talking about the Warriors.
The Lakers.
We spend so much time talking about the Lakers. LeBron's putting up big numbers, but they're not really winning games. We spend so much time talking about the Nets because Kyrie is now back, or Kyrie wasn't back, and now he's back. And we've been talking about the Bulls because that's been such a fun story. Ben Simmons, we spent so much time talking about him earlier in the year. What's wrong with the Celtics?
But Chris, even to add on to this, you talk about the Suns. When was the last time the reigning, defending NBA champions got any type of press about them?
No one's talking about Milwaukee.
No one's talking about Milwaukee.
Nobody.
Meanwhile, Giannis is having an incredible year.
Giannis
once again.
is still walking this earth, people. You know what I mean? I know I think they're 26-17, so the record is, whatever.
But they've had tons of injuries.
They've had injuries,
and COVID. So it's like Brook Lopez, I don't even think has played this.
And
year.
Adam, as Rich comes in almost every morning and lets us know what Chris Middleton did, and all of a sudden, Rich Eisen believes that Chris Middleton is not a good NBA player because he had about 3 weeks of bad fantasy play. But other than that, no one's talking about the Bucks, which I bet you is perfectly fine with everyone playing for Milwaukee. Don't even worry about us.
Yeah, Milwaukee is 26-17. Okay, they're what a half game behind Miami for the 3 seed.
Yeah.
If I were to say we play the What's More Likely game on the main show, and it's mostly just about NFL, but I'd say what's more likely? Milwaukee finishes 4-5-6 or finishes 1-2-3 in the East. What's more likely?
I still think Milwaukee's going to finish in the top 3.
Yeah, 1-2-3, right?
For sure.
I think I would bet 1-2-3 also.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to put money on that, sure.
Like, do you think Chicago, Adam, put your bias aside, can they maintain this pace?
I believe so. I think the top 3 teams clearly right now are the Bulls, the Nets, and the Bucks. And obviously you have to put
the Heat. Miami's been playing great.
I was going to say,
and they've been short-handed. They've dealt with tons of injuries in COVID, and they've been playing great basketball. They're 25-15.
Yeah, Miami's definitely up there, but right now I think it's those three teams, and I think the Bulls can maintain this streak they're on. The Bulls won 9 straight, lost to Dallas, but then picked it up last night against Detroit. Have a big game tonight actually against Brooklyn, which I'm very excited to watch.
Man. Well, again, let's not forget the Philadelphia 76ers, who are 8-2, their last 10,
right.
Winners of 7 in a row. You want to talk about playing shorthanded? They've been playing shorthanded and with, a stupid story following them the entire season. And yet you took a guy who's a first-team All-NBA defender, who's a 6'10" point guard lockdown guy, and he's sitting at home somewhere, and yet this team is still 23-16, still in 5th place, and I don't know what to say. I don't know what's going to happen with this Ben Simmons situation, but it doesn't look like the team is letting it get in their way, which is fantastic.
Think about Milwaukee, too. They've lost 4 of the last 5, but Giannis is averaging 28 and 11 with 2 blocks per game.
Is it getting to the point with Giannis where we just expect this from him now, where it's the KD, LeBron stuff?
Yeah.
It's just like, he got 28 and 17, not a big deal. It's like, no, that's a big deal.
It's such a big deal. And the thing is, like, Giannis won back-to-back MVPs, and they just weren't going to give him. Did he win back-to-back, or he just won the one?
I think it was just the one.
And they just, weren't going to give it to him again, even though he had a better or just as good, 95% statistical season than he did the year before. And now he's playing even better now this year, and then nobody's talking about Giannis for MVP. I think it was it Kendrick Perkins? No,
he's 2-time MVP.
He went back-to-back, right?
Did he go back? Oh, I can look at that.
I feel like Giannis went back-to-back, and they just weren't even going to entertain giving him the third one.
Yeah, he did go back.
Yeah. And if you look at this year, it was Matt Barnes who put out his top 5 MVP list right now, and it was like, Giannis had nowhere to be found.
Was not on there.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I think maybe and by the way, that's a nice spot to reach where you're doing stuff and it's ridiculous, and people are like, okay, yeah, we expect that.
Yeah, Matt Barnes a couple hours ago put out his top 5 mid-season MVP race. He said in no particular order, but then he has the numbers next to the names. KD, Steph, DeMar DeRozan, Ja Morant 4, and LeBron 5.
Yeah, I think the LeBron thing is, it's LeBron.
LeBron thing is ridiculous, though. I think you have to have a team that's winning a lot of games to be even considered an MVP.
Right, you can't have under 500.
Exactly, or even close to 500. The team has to. For me, at the end of the year, the team has to win at least 50 games.
50 plus?
Yeah, 50 plus for anybody to be even considered an MVP.
You like this list, TJ? Who would you? Matt Barnes put, who would you add or take off? He's like, I know I'm going to hear some LeBron slander, but his numbers don't lie.
I mean, Matt's right. His numbers don't lie, but you've got to have Giannis in there at some point.
Have to.
Somebody's got to come out. And I don't know if, DeRozan, who I know because I've had him on fantasy, he's missed about 10 games this season.
Same thing with Ja. Ja's missed a lot of games.
So Ja's missed a lot of games. So I would say that one of those two I'd have to take out, maybe DeRozan, no offense. But Giannis has. Awesome. But then again, here's one thing I'm not going to do, because people do it to me every week when I do TJ's top 5. It's your opinion, and that's what you think, and I'll let you ride with it. I might give you mine, but I'm not going to sit there and go, I can't believe you don't have so-and-so on here.
That's actually not true about DeRozan. He's only missed 3 games this year.
3?
Yeah, the Bulls are 27-11. He's played in 35 games. So
he's missed a lot of fantasy time. I know that much. I don't know how that's accurate. I mean, I'm assuming it is
Ja's
right.
Missed 9 games.
Speaking of Ja, we didn't get to this earlier. How awesome was it? The fact that Golden State, the kid with the Golden State jersey. Can we talk about that? This kid.
Yeah, let's talk about it. It was amazing.
This kid who was wearing a Steph Curry jersey tried to high five Ja Morant.
The kid couldn't have been more than 8 or 9 years old.
At the most.
He looked like a little kid. And game's over. He's kind of in the tunnel way. His seats were on the tunnel, it looked like, and he's trying to dap up Ja. And Ja straight up stiffed him. Was like, no, dude, I'm not giving you a high five until you take that jersey off.
I love that. It's so awesome. The problem now is that so many kids aren't fans of teams, they're fans of players.
Yeah.
And so to me, I love the fact that he's like, nah, you didn't represent me, so you can't give me daps when I'm doing well. That'd be like me back in the day wearing a Michael Jordan jersey and trying to get a high five from Patrick Ewing. It's what? No. I don't expect Patrick to give me a high five, and I don't want one.
I did like, though, the Ja afterwards, because he was asked about it. He's like, make sure we track the kid down because we're gonna send him some Grizzlies gear. So like next time he comes to a game, he's wearing the right jersey, which I think is cool. Would you have done that, TJ? Like, what would be yours? What if you're wearing a jersey and then you're trying to dap up somebody else? Like who would that be for you?
I mean, I would never try to dap up somebody I didn't like. So there's that.
But I know that you're a jersey guy, so I'm just trying to think like if you wore a jersey to a game and then try to dap somebody else and they refused, like how would you react?
I don't know, man. That's hard to say.
Like the level of disrespect. Like who should be more disrespected, the kid or Ja Morant?
I mean, look, the kid was what, 9?
Kid was young.
He didn't dress himself. Like that was his
dad.
dad.
He consciously chose to wear that jersey.
That was probably, and Brockman, you will be able to attest to this soon. That's more the parent. You think Cage is going to want to wear a bunch of Georgia stuff all the time? Maybe not. He lives in LA, but guess what he's going to be wearing? A bunch of Georgia stuff because his mom's putting him in there. So we don't know the situation.
Yeah.
That kid might not have had a choice in the matter.
Well, when you're 8 or 9, you can kind of make your own clothing decisions. No, I don't remember, but
I don't know.
Yeah, you can. If you don't like Steph Curry, you can say, I don't want to wear this jersey.
I guess he must have asked for it for Christmas, right?
For sure.
Like the dad's not just buying him a Steph jersey out of the blue. He must have shown that he likes Steph and he wanted a jersey.
But that makes sense. Like kids like Steph. That's just a fact. So
kids love Steph.
You know, it is what it is. There.
For all we know, he could have been from California. We don't really know the exact situation.
No, we don't know anything about the kid. He hasn't really been tracked down. The parents haven't said anything yet.
But just the level of pettiness from Ja is there's some old school quality in that I love.
I do love. I wish the players now would be a little more petty, and I think that's kind of good for him. Hey, look, you're going to be in our building. We're going to win a really big, huge, tough game, and you're going to dap me up wearing the other team's jersey?
I think there's also something to be said about an age restriction. Like a 10-year-old kid, 9, 10, that's gonna negatively affect the kid. Like, because again, you're just true. Like, you don't know. Now, if it was a teenager doing it,
right.
Fine. I think there has to be kind of like an age restriction there. The kid's a kid, man.
No, but no, it's fair game. I remember when I was like 8 and I went to a Bulls game and Grant Hill didn't give me an autograph. And yeah, I didn't like Grant Hill for 25 years after that, but still,
that's a you problem.
That's part of the game.
Were you wearing Bull stuff?
Yeah, I was wearing Bull stuff.
And you asked Grant Hill for an autograph?
Yeah, and he
said no?
Completely ignored me.
As he should have.
Me being a Duke fan, a huge Duke fan, my sister went to Duke. The guy completely looked the other way. Was I bitter about that for 25 years? Yeah, I was, but that's life.
That's pretty great.
And I like Grant Hill now.
Would you, if you ever met Grant Hill, would you tell him that story?
I might. I might.
You wouldn't be afraid? You chicken down? I thought you were going to say immediately yes.
No. That's why I said I might. I think I would, depending on the situation. I mean, Shaq's done worse to my family, but we'll talk about that another.
Shaq has done worse. Like what?
You really want me to go there right now?
Yeah, this is amazing.
I'll tell you. Okay, Shaq. I was at a Bulls Magic game. This was 1996.
Okay.
Eastern Conference Finals, Game 1. The Bulls end up killing the Magic by like 30 points.
Okay.
And after the game, we find out where the Magic were staying, the team hotel, because I was a huge autograph fan. It was kind of stalkerish, but whatever. I was looking for some autographs. And we're waiting in the hotel lobby, and all of a sudden in walks Shaq.
Okay.
And I was way too scared to go up to him. I was so intimidated. I was like 10 at the time.
I mean, he's also a gigantic person.
Yeah, 7'1", 300-pound monster.
Yeah, when you're 10.
And so my mom goes up to him and she goes, "Hey, Shaq, my son's a really big fan of yours. Do you think you could sign this ball?" And for whatever reason, Shaq just looks at her and he goes, "Shut your ass, woman." Swear to God. I'm wearing a Penny Hardaway shirt now, by the way. That's
did you hear that, or did your mom relay that to you?
No, I was there literally when it happened. I was standing right next to her, and she goes, my mom was feisty, so she goes, "You know what? He doesn't even want your autograph. You'll never be another Michael Jordan." And then Shaq literally kind of like lunged at her, and his security had to like throw him in the elevator. I swear, this all happened. This is real. Shaquille O'Neal said, "Shut your ass," to my mom. Like she had her ass sticking out at him or something.
Shut your ass, woman.
Shut your ass, woman.
You should get that on a t-shirt. That is so funny.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
And it was something that I'll remember the rest of my life.
Absolutely. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember if I have any of those like.
But I love Shaq. He's awesome.
Athlete disrespect stories. Do you have anything like that, TJ? In any of your encounters?
I have one where I was the one doing the disrespect.
That's fair.
Back in the day in Pittsburgh, around in the summers of when I was in college, I would work at Three Rivers Stadium, home of the Pirates. So I was a security guard. So I would walk various players, to the bus, to their car after the game. I think I've told you this before, a few times got to walk Barry Bonds back to his car. One time, and as a Cub fan or a Chicago guy, Adam, you'll probably appreciate this. I had Ryan Sandberg and Andre Dawson, and I'm in the middle of them, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what am I doing with Ryan Sandberg and Andre Dawson? But there was a guy named Alex Cole who used to play for the Pirates back in the day, and he was a guy who wore rec specs and stuff. So after the game, we go back into our security locker room, we change. I came back out. A couple of my buddies were waiting for me. I had a hat on. For whatever reason, I had a toothpick in my mouth. I had my backpack, and I'm walking, and all of a sudden, like, these kids are like, Mr. Cole, like they thought I was Alex Cole. And my buddy threw his arm around me. He was like, no, kids, Mr. Cole won't be signing autographs today. And he like walked me into his car, and I was like, what are you doing? And then like it didn't hit me and I remember I looked up at these kids and was like, because I thought they were messing with me, and they didn't realize until we got in the car, they're like, yo, these kids really thought you were like Alex Cole and you just dissed them. I felt bad about it, but I didn't know what was going on.
Maybe I was talking to Shaq's Shazam body double. Actually, it wasn't Shaq.
That's impossible because there's only one Shaq.
There's only one.
That is so funny. Shut your ass.
Yeah, I'll never forget that one too, Adam. Like, no, kids, Mr. Cole won't be signing today. And I thought the kid was, and I'm looking at it right now in my brain. I remember turning and going, nah. Because I was like, what do you want, kid? Leave me alone.
That's so funny. That's so funny. All right, before we finish up, let's do a little half-court heave here. We were talking about it before. Rappers or NBA players? Which would you rather be? Rapper, NBA player.
So we should just make it musician then. Because it could be a rock star, rapper.
Well, the reason we brought this up was in the last podcast we were talking about the two songs.
True, but
Mo
Bamba and the Tyler Hero song, right?
Yeah, because I think that it's pretty obvious that all rappers want to be NBA players and all NBA players want to be rappers.
It certainly seems that way, right? Especially when you watch the the celebrity games at the All-Star.
And that's been the case for years. Athletes want to be, musicians or rappers or rock stars and vice versa.
I don't know. I think, do I get to be tall?
It's like you get to either be essentially like a Drake, Jay-Z type, or like a LeBron, KD type.
Gosh. I don't know what to pick.
I definitely, like for me, it's basketball over anything. Like if I could be anything on this earth, if I found a genie, rubbed the lamp and said, what could you be? It would definitely be an NBA player over anything.
I love basketball more than I love hip hop, and I love both.
Yeah, right.
But I will say an advantage of being a rapper is that you can just get fat and just eat whatever you want. You don't have to stay in shape. You know what I mean? There's no physical conditioning. Like you can be out till 4 a.m. in the studio. Like that's a huge advantage. NBA, you have to be a little more disciplined, I'd say.
Yeah, but look at all the rappers who have done that. They don't live very long. Okay? Or they go the other way, like Busta Rhymes, and then eventually just drop the weight and get super jacked by working out like crazy. Anyway, I guess the upside to being the rapper is that you get to perform for a while, probably in your 50s maybe. People probably still like Snoop Dogg's almost 50, right?
Yeah, the longer, you can perform longer.
Yeah, the longevity is there for the music game.
To certain people, like think about
people.
how many one-hit wonders there are out there.
Yeah, good point.
Like, you could have one album and that's it.
Do I get to be 6'8"? Is that the question?
I mean, we'll give you 6'5" max.
6'5" max?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take basketball star every day.
Yeah, me too.
Every day.
I'd probably gun to my head basketball player.
Oh, it would just be so great. Because guess what? For the rest of your life, you could do like the Brian Scalabrine stuff. Oh, you're washed up. Even if you were the 12th guy on like a title team or something, like the 12th guy in the Bucks last year, you could still walk into any gym and know you're the best player in that gym.
And another thing people do is that they'll call like a Brian Scalabrine or like the guy who was like the 10th guy on the roster, they'll call them a legend. Like that's when NBA players retire, that's what they call them, is legends. It's like he was a decent player. He wasn't a legend, but
no,
he gets called a legend though.
I would always want to be a basketball player, I think. And I'm glad that we all agree with that. All right, that's going to do it for this week's show. Thanks for tuning in. Next week, we're going to do it all again and hopefully have these same thrilling conversations. Riveting conversations.
Oh, by the way, what did we agree on? Mo Bamba or Tyler Hero?
Oh, for the song?
Yeah.
I like the beat on the Mo Bamba song better.
Telling you, the Mo Bamba song smacks. And like I said, just imagine if Shaq West grew up with Luka. You know, that song would be probably the biggest song on earth.
I think it depends on your mood. If you're trying to like get crazy or work out, it's definitely Mo Bamba. Yeah. But if you're just like chilling, relaxing, it's the Tyler Hero song by Jack Harlow.
Also, that dude would have a Slovenian accent if he grew up with Luka Doncic.
Or, I mean, that's true.
All right, for Adam and TJ, Luka. It's Brock. We'll see you next week, guys.
Peace.